Hello there, it's Simone. I'm here to film a snippet from my desk video. Before I start and go into all the things, I would like to let you all know that I film those snippets from my desk videos and publish them on the day that I film them for my Ko-fi members. They get to watch them on the day that I film them. When I release them to the public, sometimes it's a week, 2 weeks time between filming and talking and then sharing it with you all. So if you have questions about a specific thing or want to add your own opinion to something, what I would love for you to do is just add the minute where you had the question about, so that I can go and look at what I talked about and then get back to you, because sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about in these videos because they're so long and it's just random chatter. So that would be totally awesome if you could do that. And if not, that's okay too. So I have read 2 books in the last week. I have finished the book that I started talking about last week, which was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. And for some reason, that name was familiar to me. And I have decided, because the book that I read after was so interesting to me, that I wanted to do a little bit of research. And so I'm thinking of sharing my books in the format that you're going to see today. And if you like that, then please let me know. If that's too much work, if that's not something that you're interested in, then also please let me know, because I can also just not do the research. So now I need a paper clip, a clip for my thing. All right, so the book that I read, 32, this in the beginning of the week, was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. And for some reason, that name sounded familiar to me. And the reason why that is because I had listened to a different book by her earlier this year, I believe. Let me check where that was. And I know that my son actually also, here, January 2024, 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. It felt like a YA novel to me. It was fun. It's around Christmas time, so if you like romance novel, very lighthearted, closed door. I don't even know if there's anything beyond kissing. Is there even kissing? Not sure. This is definitely a cute book to listen to, and it was so fun. So, highly recommend. I found the First Lie Wins is a thriller. It is not a YA novel. This was a Reese's Book Club pick. Oh. And seems to have become a bestseller. Amazon says, or the Amazon editor's pick is the best book of the year 2024 so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that is not this book for me, but it's definitely not a book that is a standard thriller. This book is a thriller, and the main character, Evie Porter, lives with her boyfriend, Ryan, and has a seemingly beautiful life, you would think. The problem is Evie Porter is not Evie Porter. Being Evie Porter is her job. There's a cat bumping the thing. And her boyfriend is the target of her investigation. Through flashbacks, you get to know Evie, her real name, her job, what makes this job special, and the fact that she wants to get out of this life is definitely prevalent. And basically, this is the story of how she's trying to achieve that. And you will figure out by the end of the book if she does or not. It is fast-paced. Evie tells the story and is only giving you the info in small increments. So when you start out, obviously you don't know anything. And then the further you go, the more you'll learn. But you don't learn everything. So she omits details that will come back at a later date, and then you understand the full picture of the book. It's definitely, as I said, not your typical mystery thriller, but to me, if I compare it to another thriller that I just recently read, which was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, I would definitely rank this in terms of, how invested I was in the story. I wasn't as invested as in Listen for the Lie. Now, this, you don't have gory details about murder. There's no blood, I believe, involved. It's very high level when it comes to these details, so that might be good for you, and Listen for the Lie might not be for you because it has some gory details involved. It's more violent. Maybe that's a good thing. It is 352 pages, was released on January 2nd of 2024 by the publisher Pamela Dorman Books. And yeah, I would totally read more by Ashley Elston. I saw that she has quite a backlist of books, and I might go further down that rabbit hole, but I currently have quite a bit of books that I have put on hold from the library, so this would probably be something that if I am in a lull and I can't find any other things to read, this would be an author that I would investigate further. It's a well-written thriller. This book came out as hardcover. And I think there's a the big print, large print paperback. Well-written thriller. Mysterious boss. Investigating. Spy feeling. So that's what I have to say about First Lie Wins. And then we come to the book that I didn't even know if I wanted to start, and now I'm super this was definitely a hidden gem for me. The book is called The Divorcees. It was written by Rowan Baird. It is their debut novel. It came out on March 19th, 2024. in hardcover, has 272 pages, was published by Flatiron Books, and a paperback version is set to publish next March. Now, what is it about? The biggest draw that this book had on me was that it is a novel set at a Reno divorce ranch. If you're not familiar, I live in Reno now. And so, of course, I'm always curious to learn about Reno's history. There's also a podcast about Reno. I will totally podcast link that if you're interested. And it sounded interesting. And so this was one of the books that just came in from my holds at the library. There wasn't anything else interesting on my holds. And so I decided, you know what? Because my library here only loans audiobooks for 2 weeks, you have to act quickly listening, because otherwise they're gone before you could even listen to them. So I started the book and I was quite surprised. Lois Saunders is an unhappily lonely married woman. She is quite young. I believe she's in her early 20s. She lives in Lake Forest, Michigan, and wants to divorce her husband. No-fault divorce is not legal besides Nevada. So Reno has made a business of that in offering divorce, women who would like to divorce their husbands, basically places to stay. So Lois is going to a divorce ranch called the Golden Yarrow. She is sent to this ranch by her father. And so the only requirement that Nevada has for divorce is that you have to have a 6-week residency in Nevada so you can divorce your partner in a no-fault divorce setting. So that's what this business is. So it offers basically a place to stay with food. It's a vacation ranch for people who would like to get divorced, have a 6-week stay. The people that are owning the ranch will then testify in front of the judge at the Reno courthouse that you have lived there for the past 6 weeks. And then that's basically it. The story is told when Lois arrives in Reno and is brought to the ranch. You get to know Lois Saunders. She is lonely. She hasn't really fit in ever. She was always different than her classmates, and she didn't really have any friends. She's overthinking most of her interactions with people. She loves movies and watching movies and talking about stars and movies, and the way she talks about movies to me feels like the way that I talk about fountain pens. So maybe that's why I enjoyed this book. That's why I related to the character, because I often have the same problem. I don't really know what to talk to people about besides, yeah, I'm fine. And here, look at this amazing fountain pen that I can talk up to you about for 15 minutes and you have lost interest in the first 2 seconds. So she is very timid. Women in the 1950s were expected to become homemakers. What others said, what men said about them, to them, for them, was what counted. And Lois doesn't have any confidence in herself because she also doesn't fit in with other women. she's super lonely and very unhappy. Then she has a hard time connecting to the other women at the ranch, so that makes her, or affirms her in the fact that she is different, or the thought that she is different, that she is supposed to be this way and to stay away from other people. And then at the last minute, one more guest arrives, Greer Lang, who is different than the other women, and encourages Lois to dream about what she wants, to stand up for what she thinks, to talk about the things that she loves, and helps, get Lois out of that shell that she has put herself into. Now, of course, the decisions, Greer Lang isn't a good influence on Lois, and all the other women also really look up to Greer because she's just so different. She's not living up to the standards or the expectations that women were held during that time. So that's basically it. They start to push the boundaries. Lois starts to push the boundaries. Lois doesn't know where she needs to stop pushing the boundaries. And you see this woman let loose for the very first time and making some really bad decisions as well. Some on the Amazon product page, it says that this is a thriller, which to me, I don't think. I think this is a character study of the character Lois. And it's really, to me, it was really slow. And it described the nature very, adequately. And the rough landscape surrounding the Golden Yarrow and Reno in general just worked really well with the atmosphere of the book. So I loved listening to this. It was, to me, it wasn't thrilling. It was very slow. You were able to see and hear the thoughts that went through Lois's mind, and for some reason it just grabbed me, which is not usually the norm, because these kinds of books aren't for me, or I have changed as a reader in the past 8 to 9 months, that now these kinds of books are thrilling to me. It does not end. When you're reading the book, there is, it's very anticlimactic in my opinion, because it's not going to end the way you think it does. But it's actually ending quite realistic. Lois is not the free-spirited woman that she would love to be, or that she admires in Greer Lang. She just takes one tiny step at a time to become a more independent woman. And that's what you see at the end of the book. If that's not something that is for you, then this book will not appeal to you. I really loved getting to know Lois. I loved the realistic view of her. I would have not liked the book if it was, and then these two cowgirls ran away with all of the money and everything happily ever after, Wild Western cowgirls type of style. That wasn't what I was hoping for, and it didn't come to that. So if you're looking for something thrilling, this is not it. What I was really what hit me in my face the most was the fact that this book is in the place in the early 1950s. And this was the very first time that I actually realized how unemancipated women were at that time. Women did not have their own money. Women weren't allowed to have bank accounts at that time. It was just eye-opening for me, and I wanted to do research. I know that in the beginning of the 1900s, 1920s, I believe, women were allowed to vote, but I have never really done any research on how then women, how that happened, like how we are here now, where women are independent, can be independent if they want to. They can live by themselves. They don't have to they can have separate bank accounts. They can work. They can do all things, and how it went from, getting the right to vote to this point. And so that was just so, that aspect of how they had to, fizzle through the unspoken rules of society. And then, of course, the actual laws that allowed and didn't allow women to have or do certain things was just so eye-opening for me. And I did some research, and I found that, of course, during World War II, women stepped up to take on the roles of men that went to fight in the war. So they took on the roles of men, and that was regarded as an act of service to the country. But when the men returned from the war, women were expected to go back to leave the workforce. There was a huge focus on family, women as homemakers, and single women who worked weren't regarded highly, weren't really accepted in society. And it was just so weird to think that that was in the 1950s, which is just 27 years before I was born. And to think that so much had changed since then, that when I grew up, I never had to think about any of these things. So yeah, that was what was really interesting to me. I found that in 1974, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act actually made sure that not just women, but people of color, of course, women, race, whatever, gender, sexuality, were, I don't even know what see, this is how privileged I am. Sometimes I wonder, I of course, I'm grateful. I can't do anything against it, but just figuring all of this out, and because I really want to learn about it, feels good. That's when everyone was allowed. Nobody was allowed to be discriminated for any of those things. And I then also found an article about divorce, because I was also interested in that. And the article that I found, maybe I can link that, said that by 2010, no-fault divorce was legalized by all states in the United States. You have to think about that. 2010 isn't really that far away from 2024. That's only 14 years ago. And it's also really timely. The book is very timely if you think about Project 2025, or is it called Agenda 2025, where people would like to change things back to how they were during that time. So I was really surprised by this book, and now I need to write about it. So I think I will do that when I'm off camera, because I want to write all of the stuff that I just told you. And I will definitely be on the lookout for more books by Rowan Baird. I'm just going to write the title so that you can see it. It's The Divorces by Rowan. And it is written B-E-A-I-R-D. Okay. And I think I will use all of this space for what I want to write about the book. And we are already at 23 minutes. Wow. So I'm just going to continue talking until I'm at about an hour, and then I will finish what I've been working on. Maybe I need to do a what I've been reading this month video once a month. Because I'm also very want to update my weekly journal. So this was last week. This is how far I got. This is the things I still want to add. Even though I haven't finished this yet, I think what I want to do is go in here. I already started. So here's what I want to write. And maybe I can use this here. Okay. I want to write about something. So now I started using the fountain pens that I ink up every week. So here I had inked the Waterman Karen, this one here, and this is actually called Royal Blue. I looked it up because I keep saying I'm just going to call it Cobalt Blue because I don't know the name. And then I realized, you know what, you could just do your research and find out. This is my Lamy LX with this blue. And then I also have my new Bone Crusher 7 Studios Velma, inked with Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty by Robert Oster. These were the 3 pens for the week. What I found is that I really like only having 3 pens inked, because then the chances are more likely that I'm using all 3 of them in my weekly spread. So this week I have inked these 3 pens, which are my Franklin Christoph Sig medium nib on the Gravitas pocket, another Waterman Karen with Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukiyo, and then the Lamy 2000 with a fine nib and Teranishi Guitar Gentle Green. And I have already inked the pens for this upcoming week. And this pen case is so lovely. I love that I have everything in here that I need for sketching and journaling. And I can see how I have been using my watercolors more. And here I did the logo for the Currently Reading podcast. Maybe I'm going to color this in before I write. Yeah, so now I want to write about the Currently Reading podcast. And I need this. So I have been talking about the Currently Reading podcast, and that's, by the way, is where I got the recommendation for the divorcees from. I've been talking about the Currently Reading podcast and how it has enhanced my reading so much in the last year or so. I think I started listening to them sometime around this time last year. And many of their recommendations have been great hits. Especially what I like about them is that they just diversify my reading so much. The way they talk and introduce the books to me makes me want to read them, even though they're not my preferred genres often. And because I get most of the books that I read or currently listen to from the library, it doesn't really matter if I only read or listen to the first 10% and then I realize, no, this is not it for me. So, getting those books from the library, listening to them, and then deciding that it isn't for me has really enhanced my reading and diversified my reading. And I have found so many good books through that method. And also maybe because I'm reading at work, sometimes I might listen to something just a tiny bit longer than I would usually do. And so a book, sometimes I have learned that I need to give some books more time to actually fall for them. But all this to say is that I have finally become a patron of their podcast, and that opens up some member benefits, which are the indie press list. And man, I have put so many books on my TBR just from listening to the backlog of episodes from this year. So every month they cooperate with a bookstore to press, that's why it's called press list, to hand sell 5 books to them and their listenership. And I really like that method. So they do questionnaires, I think once a year, to gauge what their membership base consists of, what they like reading, what they don't like. And so they send that information to the bookstore, and then the bookstore picks 5 books based on that information. And it feels like going into a bookstore and, looking at the bookstore recommendations. And that's basically what this is. I think it started during COVID when independent bookstores were struggling quite a bit. And so they took that idea of a bookseller giving you a specific book recommendation of, you go in there and say, hey, I'm looking for a book. This is what I like reading. And so that's what they get, is they get a blurb by one of the booksellers about why this book might be great for you. And it's just so good. They also have All Things Murderful, which is a paid, behind the paywall monthly thing that is happening, which is one podcast about murdery, thrillery books, gory books. Not sure that that's something for me, but just supporting them, being able to record their weekly regular program plus getting access to the indie press list is well worth the $5 that I'm paying. And so I wanted to write about that. I think I'm going to speed up this section. Oh, I also just remembered, so starting in August, and there is one episode that was published for everyone on their regular feed. There is another monthly installment. So if you're aware of the Currently Reading podcast, they have two main hosts, which are Meredith and Katie. Meredith is responsible for all things Murderful, and then Katie is starting a new section with someone else, I forgot their name, about romance novels. And so that's also really interesting. I know I just said in my last snippets from my desk, in one of my last snippets from my desk videos, that I'm not going to listen to romance novels on audio, but I still can listen to podcasts about romance novels, and there will be a time that I will be reading, and so I can definitely add those to my TBR for more content. Yay. And for the indie press list, you also get a PDF that looks like, sometimes when you get those booklets from your independent bookstore, or I don't even know if Barnes & Noble has this, but I love those where you see, also the Scholastic Book Fair has those when you can look at a book catalog basically, and you get those 5 books. There is a podcast about those 5 books where they talk to you about each of the 5 books. They tell you why the bookstore recommends them. They tell you how much they have read so far, and if the books are for them or not for them, and why they are and why they aren't. And then you get that PDF that looks like a book catalog for those 5 books, which I really love. I'm a sucker for that. I'm glad. I'm sad it doesn't come in print because I'm not going to print it, but it is really cool. Okay, so yay. I hope if you decide to subscribe, or if you are subscribed, I would love to know your thoughts about this podcast, because obviously I'm a big fan for sure. And becoming a member of them has made me want to pursue one of the things that fell off, is that to support artists on Patreon that I really like. So I think this is going to be a thing that I'm not just doing for 2 or 3 months, but other artists, and then just spread out my support money to different things, to different artists throughout the year. Okay, now, do you want to hear the funniest joke ever? My family, that's why it's so quiet here today, because my family is at the movies watching Deadpool and Wolverine. And I'm so out of this. For real. Like, I'm only interested in fountain pens and listening to books and nothing else. That when they told me that they were going to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, I thought they were going to watch 2 separate movies, Deadpool and Wolverine. And I find this so funny. Like, so funny that I have to journal about it. I don't know how. We're lovingly calling ourselves when things like that happen to us, then I'm such a boomer. Yeah, and I think I'm going to write this. I'm going to just in double stroke the first downstroke, because I want to. Deadpool. And I think what I'm going to do is come in with my water brush and then just do basically the same thing as I did here. Similar, not the same. Deadpool. And I think I made a mistake. Over. Well, maybe not, but almost, man. There we go. Okay. And of course, they made so much fun of me because I'm so stupid. I admitted openly that I totally thought they were two different movies. Do you see what a fun ink color this is? Okay, am I going to write with this? No, I'm not. This pen and ink just are so wet and so broad that I don't want to, I wouldn't be able to write what I want to write about this. So, man, going to stop and speed it up again. Okay, so I do want to sketch something. And I don't know if it's going to turn out. Now I'm scared. I don't really know. Meh. I'm gonna grab it. Here it is. And I think where I want to put it right over here. And then this is where this comes out. Now the question is, how do I show the individual, basically this individual thing here? Don't know. And I'm wondering if I should, no, I'm just going to go for it, because if I don't dare and try to do it, then I just will never get any better at this. Okay, and then we had this. So now the only thing that needs to happen is that I need to color this. Basically, this is what I found this with my puppy at the river, and I believe that someone made this for sure. But you know, it's still cute. And I also found, I think I also found a maybe a wasp. I don't know what it actually was, a wasp nest thingy. That was empty, of course, and I took it and I took a photo of it, and I can insert that right here. Maybe I can write wasp nest. But yeah, so what else? I think I want to, oh, this is, I am going to, so here, that week, I did this, and I really liked it. So what I'm going to do is to do the same thing. And this card is from Black Milk Project. I purchased their, is it called Sweet Dreams? Stationery box in, I believe, April. There is an unboxing on my channel that I can link. It's not open, so you need to, if you want to watch it, you need to click on that link. I have to write that down. Black Milk Project box video. So yeah. And that card was included, and I went through all of my stationery stuff, my ephemera stuff last week. And I decided that I hadn't used any of those things because I just, you know, sometimes not using things makes me think that I can keep them, that I can savor them for the perfect opportunity, but I really want to work against those feelings, and I don't believe that the perfect opportunity ever comes. The only thing that happens is that I am hoarding the things, that I'm not using the things, that I might feel guilty for having so many things, and I don't want to be that way. I want to extend exactly that also onto my life. I don't want to wait for the perfect timing for all the things. That's why instead of going on a hike today, I stayed home. No, I really need to, I had two things happen to me this week. The first one was that it's so hot and you can't really go outside with the puppy. So I'm often stuck taking care of an obnoxious puppy who doesn't really know what to do, who would love to do something, who would love to go outside and spend all of his energy outside because it's so hot here. But I, for some reason, must have forgotten that I can totally take him to a park where there's shade, right? I could take him to the river. And I've gotten since my sister left. Before, I've been really good, but since my sister left in the end of second week of July, I just, you know, decided, oh, I'm such a, just going to give in to the fact that I am suffering at home, and I want to change that mindset. First of all, I can go to the park. There's a park so close with trees, shades, access to the river. Why am I not taking the puppy there? He's gonna be excited. He's gonna have something to do. I mean, it's better than sitting at home and feeling sorry for myself. So, that was the first thing. So I want to be more active again. And I also really want to go on adventures. But then I always find excuses why I can't. And so I found a really great hike, but it said that there are some steep grades. So I really want to take my husband with me because, yes, my puppy is getting so much better as we're walking on the leash, being well behaved, not running anywhere because there's a bunny over there or a lizard over there, or there's another puppy coming our way and we have to be super excited. He is getting there, but he's not there just yet. So I didn't want to go on that hike by myself because I was afraid that if anything happened, nobody would be there. So that adventure has been postponed, and but I'm taking my van for an oil change on Tuesday, and if everything goes well, I'm planning on going on an overnight camping trip with a hike in the morning. The thing is, in the summer here, when there's no shade, you can't really go unless you're leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning. Otherwise, it's too hot and too sunny. So I found a campground. Oh my goodness. That reserves, I think, 3 spots for first come, first serve. So I want to be there at 2 and see if I can get in, and then do a hike up there where I found the campground. And then I also want to go paddleboarding again to the lake with my son. My sons can come too, but with the puppy. So that's the dreams. I want to be more active, more adventuring. I don't want to fall into that. So I want to stop feeling sorry for myself. And I think I'm going to stop this here and speed it up again. Okay, why? Maybe I didn't push start, or maybe there is not enough space on my camera. I don't know, but it didn't record. So there's so many things that are coming together here. Maybe I can talk about this. So here I gave myself a gold star for making it. And what I wrote here is, every week I have the hope that this week is going to be better. I will have more time, but no, I'm so frustrated and unhappy. I don't know how I'm going to survive another month or 2 of this heat, this dog, this absolute nightmare. Yes, I was at a really, really low. And that's what I just talked about earlier, is that I need to find ways to cope with the heat. I can totally admit to the fact that I just don't like summer. There's nothing wrong with me saying, hey, I don't like summer. And that's totally okay. I can maybe I can live with that better than if I said, oh, summer is so great. And I think the reason why I was made believe that summers are so great is from childhood, when you're not in school and there's so much free time. And yes, of course, where I grew up, summer was when it was warm and it was not super hot. But I always, if I look back, I always struggled with summer because summer is not routine. Summer is harder. So I don't know. I need to write that down somewhere too, that I don't like summer and I can just accept the fact and move on, instead of always thinking that there must a way for me to make me love this. No, I don't have to love this. I don't have to love summer, and it's totally okay. I can be miserable in the summer when it's too hot, but I can also, instead of, being disappointed that yet again there is another summer that I don't enjoy, find ways that make me cope with it better, instead of, being in that feeling constantly. I must like it. It must be better. No, it doesn't have to be. It's just what it is. And I can move on from that and accept I don't like it and find ways how I can make myself like it better. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I also really want to go outside and do stuff, be an outdoorsy person, but I struggle so hard with going outside. I have a van. I can go somewhere. I can wild camp. I can stop somewhere. But then I start worrying, well, where can I stop? Where should I go? What if I don't like it there? What if there's no trails around? And there's so many obstacles that, oh my gosh, I should just go. So my idea was last week, and I haven't done that today because of the reasons that I just told you. But I thought, you know what? I could just go and drive there without camping there. And early in the morning when the puppy gets up at 5:30, that's fine. I can drive there. It takes me about an hour to get where I want to go. For that specific hike, I can take my journaling supplies and all the things. I can go there. I can even take my camera and my thing here to film. So I can take all of that. I can pack the dog. I can pack myself. I can go up. I can do the hike. I'll be back at around 9:30ish, maybe 10. And then I can spend the heat of the day in the van journaling, and then come afternoon I can go to a river, lake, whatever, swim, which I don't really like swimming, but get in the water with my puppy, pack everything up and go back home. I can do that. That sounds like fun. I don't have to sleep in the van if I'm not comfortable with that just yet. And then some of the places are so far away and I'm working and I only have 2 days during the week and half of Saturday and Sunday. So it's like, But then I can also take time off to do that, to do all the things, I just need to get my act together and understand that sitting here dreaming about it is not the same as actually doing it. And then the last thing, which is this, when I go out, I feel so much better every time I do it. And I think I want to do this, and I want to write summer here. I always don't make this right I don't care. It's fine. I'm trying. Okay, I think. Do we want to color this in and then maybe call it quits for now? I am not really using any ephemera, which I know. Maybe the reason why I don't is because I did this and this. I might go through my stickers and then find something that I can use. Wow, there was still blue on the... I don't really need to color match this, but I just want to find a little bit of stuff that I can... Wow, there... Okay. It's like so wrong, all of this. Let's put some yellow in here. Okay. I think I'm better off if I'm using this. And what I notice is that I shouldn't try to be a fine artist when I'm sketching, because that just hinders me in actually expressing myself. You know, if I don't do it, if I don't try things, then I will never find out if I like it or if I don't like it. And I get that I could totally make this look even better if I put in more effort or things like that. So I'm just going to add some here and some here for a little bit more. Now, what is this? Is this sepia? Yeah. So maybe I should use that instead. To make this more, to give this a little bit more depth. And this is in front of that. So there is like some shade right here. And it doesn't have to be super deep, you know? And it doesn't have to represent whatever I made, whatever I'm using as a guideline at all, because that's not what this is about. This is about having fun. This is about documenting my life. This is about doing things that I love doing. And yeah, if you might say that, but you don't seem to enjoy the drawing aspect because you don't ever really do it. Yeah, I think you're right. And the reason why I don't like it is because I'm too scared. That's the reason why. And I don't want to be scared anymore. And so if I practice more and more, then I will hopefully be able to just do it instead of constantly thinking that I shouldn't do it because I won't like the outcome. So that's why I'm going to be okay with having ugly sketches in my sketchbook. And to be honest, I don't think that that's going to be true. That's maybe the fear that I have, but I need to address the fear. And the fear is I'm afraid of having ugly sketches in my notebook. And I need to be okay with that. And then I can be totally surprised by the outcome. So I'm going to wait and let this dry. And then I think I will come in and try and make some of these flowery things come out, like, you know, the individual thingies. And maybe make this back part here a tiny bit darker still. But I think it needs to be dry too for that. What I can do right now is just go in here and activate the color here. And I know it, I'm living in the high desert, basically. And I know that this is a dry heat, and I think I prefer the dry heat to the humid heat, but it's too much. There's a lot of wind here. When it's windy, it's beautiful. So I'm going to get to terms with the heat here. And I think I'm also going to just feel better by admitting this. And hopefully I remember next year that, hey, I don't like summer, and I don't have to like summer. And it's okay. I can get through this. Maybe I can find some coping strategies, already planning some places that I could go next summer. Well, I want to travel to Germany next summer. So that's going to be a thing. And yeah, I'm going to get through this. So I want to journal about the fact that I went outside, and then I found these beautiful artifacts. Yeah, artifacts is a good word for that. And I came back home and I felt so much better. So here, hold fast to your dreams. Yeah. And then I actually went and did it. And I found 2 things on the way. And it was just like the proof that I needed that, yeah, it is true. I should totally do that more often. And there's even on the days that I work, nobody said that I have to stay home after work and not go out and do a small thing around here. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to finish this right now, and then I will catch you all in next week, maybe from someplace else. Who knows? Bye. Take care. Also, if you don't like summer, let me know your coping strategies. I know that one of them is being at home in an AC house. But remember, I have a puppy. That's not feasible for me without being super frustrated. So I need other coping strategies for summer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.